Hey YouTube, Olivewood Piper here. Today I want to do a review on an interesting tobacco. It is Drew Estates Gatsby Luxury Flake. Now the interesting thing about this tobacco is if you read some of the reviews, people either love it or hate it. And I want to give you my impressions of it. First of all, it's hotter than Hades again today here in Florida. And excuse me for a second. Today was supposed to be 2 degrees cooler than yesterday. Well, given the fact that yesterday was in the 90s, it's not a whole lot cooler. Believe me, the humidity is brutal. Anyway, let's get to the review. The Gatsby Luxury Flake is a Virginia and Burley flake with a interesting fruit note to it. When you open the tin, first of all, you get blasted with an incredible odor. And odor is a terrible way to explain it, but man, it smelled like I had a tin of figs or apricots. It was powerful. So I thought to myself, I don't know about this one. I like a light aromatic every once in a while, but this seemed to be over the top. Anyway, so the tin note was pretty strong. So then, figure I'm smoking it right now, actually, in my Stanwell pipe, and it's actually a very light aromatic, very, very light touch of aroma that you wouldn't expect after smelling that tin. It had the right moisture, and when you open the tin, it's a long flake that's rolled. And literally, you hold that thing up and it unrolls like a ribbon. And what I did is I broke it up and jarred it. The interesting thing is, a couple of days after I jarred it, the intense aroma of the fig seemed to dissipate a little bit, and it smokes really, really nice. I mean, it's pretty easy to rub out, and I always prefer to rub out the flakes. I think they smoke a little easier, and it's easier to pack them in the bowl so you don't pack the bottom of the bowl too tightly, which makes for multiple relights after the fact. But one of the things about this tobacco is you've got to smoke it very slowly. I'm not a very slow smoker, so I can tell you I didn't get any bite from it. It's very pleasant. It burns well. It's got a very nice room note, very soft room note, and I believe Pipes and Cigars has it on sale right now for about $5.99 a tin, and I'll tell you, that is a steal. And if you like a light aromatic, you owe it to yourself to pick up a tin of this. It's really surprising, and one of the things that has surprised me in the past is sometimes the tin note is very different from what you get when you actually smoke the tobacco. Excuse me, I'm going to have a little of my Lipton iced tea. I need to have a nurse alongside of me here patting me. Anyway, it's interesting. Sometimes you get such a strong tin note, and then when you smoke the tobacco, you don't get that heaviness at all. And this is like that. So like I said before, there are some ugly reviews about this tobacco, and I really think it comes down to people's palates. You know, everybody's different, and we're all, I guess our chemistry is different, and so some people will love certain tobaccos and they'll hate others, and I try to keep my tobacco down to a medium nicotine level. I had a little health issue in the past, so I've got to watch myself with nicotine and alcohol and that sort of thing. But in any event, so I mean, really give it a shot. If you like a light aromatic, it's fantastic. I really thought it was great, but you know, again, I'm in part of the, I guess, the 65% that like it. And about 35% of people didn't like it at all. Most of my pipes that I have gotten over time have been through eBay. I kind of like estate pipes. This is an estate pipe. And I just like the nostalgia of owning a pipe that's 40, 50 years old. The history behind that pipe is incredible, and I just love the fact that, you know, to be part of that history and to have that pipe. Now, the thing with eBay, and Stuffin and things mentioned this in one of his videos, you got to really watch what you get. Now, to be fair to the eBayers that post these products, you can only show so much through photographs. And I have a perfect example. I saw a real nice, very old Wilkinson. This pipe is old, and I can tell you how I know it's old. This is a stem that I had to create. When I got the pipe, I do what I always do. I always do a salt treatment and clean it. Well, I was cleaning the stem and it shattered in my hand. The end of the stem just broke right off. So I thought to myself, this pipe is old. So then I'm making my new stem, and I go to insert it into the stummel, and I hear a crack. I said, "Oh God, no!" And yeah, sure enough, if you look closely here, you might be able to see that crack there, right? So I repaired the crack and continued to make the stem. I'm not finished yet. I put a coat of stain after sanding it lightly, and now I'm going to buff it out. And this is going to be like a knock-around pipe. It's not going to be anything that I'm going to, you know, put in a special place in my rack or anything like that. But I just love the fact that it's real old. Speaking of history, when I was a young kid, a student teacher in New York City, when I got out of the subway and I went to the school, I would always pass Wally Frank. Wally Frank was a real nice tobacconist company years ago. I believe they've been out of business for a long time. But I'd pass there, look at the pipes. When I got out of school, at the end of the day, I'd have to walk past Wally Frank. Sure enough, I would be drawn into it. It was like a magnet. And I bought some real nice Sheridan seconds over the years. A Mountbatten, which I think Sheridan also made. It might have been one of their sub products. I bought some real nice pipes there. Unfortunately, when I had my little health issue many years ago, I stopped smoking cigars entirely. I still don't smoke cigars, but I trashed my pipes. I think I was so aggravated about the fact that I had gone through this issue. I wasn't really thinking clearly, and I just dumped them all. And till today I regret that, because I had some real nice pipes. When I was in the corporate world, at a time I was in Chicago, I used to go to Iwan Reese. Iwan Reese is on Wabash, and they've been around forever, and they have a fantastic business there. I mean, you walk up in there, everything is wood, it's old. They got beautiful pipes on display. They got some interesting tobaccos. I used to buy some tobaccos there, and I was reading about some of their current offers. I remember something about being a 3-star or something like that, but some of their tobaccos have gotten some bad reviews. I don't understand why. I think some of them, or all of them, might be made by Sutliff, and I don't understand, but I used to buy tins, large tins, you know, like 8 ounces, and smoked it all the time. It was great. So Iwan Reese is still around. They're still operating, unlike Wally Frank. And Wally Frank, the interesting thing about Wally Frank, they used to sell pipes that were made by some of the big makers, Savinelli, Sheridan, Peterson, or whatever, and they used to sell them under a private label. Now, a lot of times you really didn't even know who made that pipe. And some of those pipes were outstanding. But I miss those days on Lexington Avenue, walking up the street, you know, and standing like a little kid at Christmas time with my nose against the window looking at all the pipes. How ridiculous. Anyway, about 13 years ago, I had been pushed out of the corporate world. I had been in a corporate life for about 28 years. And you get to a certain age where you're making too much money, and all the young people around you know more than you know. At least that's what they think. So, new regime comes in and they want their own people in, so they push you out. When I got pushed out, there was no way anybody was going to hire me at that age, even at a lesser salary. So I didn't know what to do. I'll be honest with you, I was very depressed. You know, I would sit out here in the lanai and just stare out into space and say to myself, I spent all these years being very successful, and how all of a sudden is that a moot point? You know, am I no good anymore? What happened to me? You begin to self-doubt. You begin to feel sorry for yourself, which is disgusting. So anyway, I had to do something to keep myself busy. So my youngest daughter and I decided we were going to embark on building this bar. I think we've got 800 pounds of concrete in this, between the concrete and the stucco. I think the world is going to come to an end and this bar is still going to be sitting there. And I've had a lot of good times entertaining people and such, and it was a lot of fun building it. And at the end, it was so fantastic to say, wow, I actually created that. And I had never done stucco before. I learned on the internet. You go on YouTube, you can learn anything. So let me give you a little idea why it's called Carlo's Place. About 15 years ago, I was in Las Vegas with my wife and 2 other couples. And on a particular day, my wife and the other women went out to lunch. And so my 2 buddies and I decided we were going to sit and play some blackjack. Now, I am not a gambler. I rarely play blackjack. I don't know, I just don't play it enough, I think, to get really good at it. However, when you start drinking alcohol, you think you're James Bond at the baccarat table. So here I am sitting at this gambling table, playing blackjack. My two friends are alongside of me, and this very attractive young lady comes and sits next to me. And she didn't know what she was doing for the most part, playing blackjack. And she was asking me about her hand and this and the other thing, and what should I do, you know? And it's kind of disruptive to the other players, you know, when you have somebody getting into this kind of questioning and commenting, and you know, it slows the game down. So people get a little antsy. Anyway, I was being nice, you know, and she asked me my name, you know, and I told her, and I said my name is Carl, but my grandfather's name was Carlo, and in order to Americanize my name, they called me Carl. They left out the O at the end. So we continued to play, and at one point she asked me, she said, "Carlo, is this a good hand?" You know, and she was kidding around. Well, the next thing I know, I hear coming from behind me, "Who the blank is Carlo, and who the blank are you?" The voice was very familiar to me. It was my wife. My friends bolted from the seats at the table. The dealer backed up because he figured there was going to be a cat fight here. So I started to explain in my inebriated way that she was just asking me questions about, and my wife says, "Well, what's this business of Carlo? Where did that come from?" I said, "Well, you know," and I explained to my wife all about how I got my name and this. Well, till this day, friends of mine recall that particular occurrence, and they get hysterical laughing because it was a pretty scary situation. And I don't know, you know, sometimes you do crazy things, but I was just trying to be nice, and it almost got me in a lot of trouble. But in any event, that's about all I have for today. And I want to thank you an awful lot for watching. And if you subscribe, thank you also. And if you have any comments, they're very appreciated. And as always, remember, health and happiness to you and yours. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.